Have you noticed this? Some people treat their birthdays like a national holiday. Balloons, stories, reels, countdown posts. The whole world must know. And then there are others. No cake, no party, no announcement. If you didn't check their date of birth, you'd never know. Why? Why would someone ignore the one day that's supposed to be about them? Is it sadness? Is it maturity? Or is something deeper happening inside their mind? Because the way you treat your birthday says more about your psychology than you think. Let's break it down. For some people, birthdays were never magical. They were awkward, disappointing, forgotten. Imagine being 10 years old. You wait the whole day. No one remembers. No friends call. Family is busy. You plan a small party once. Nobody shows up. That kind of memory doesn't disappear. The brain adapts. In psychology, this is called learned helplessness. When repeated disappointment teaches you that expecting good things leads to pain. So the mind protects itself. It lowers expectations. Then one day, birthdays stop feeling special. Not because the person doesn't care, but because caring hurts. It's safer to act like it doesn't matter. If you expect nothing, you can't be disappointed. So instead of balloons and excitement, you get emotional numbness. And to outsiders, it looks like maturity. But sometimes, it's protection. Then there's another group. They're not hurt. They're overwhelmed. Work deadlines, family responsibilities, assignments, bills, constant notifications. Their brain is overloaded. Their birthday arrives like any other task on the calendar. Meeting at 9, emails at 12, calls at 4. And by the time they notice, it's night. This isn't sadness. It's cognitive overload. Psychologists call it time blindness. When you're so busy surviving that emotional moments lose their weight. Birthdays require presence. But presence disappears when the brain is constantly in problem-solving mode. These people don't ignore their birthdays intentionally. They just don't have the mental bandwidth to celebrate. They're surviving, not savoring. Now, here's the interesting category. Some people genuinely don't feel the need to celebrate. Not because they're hurt, not because they're busy, but because they don't need external validation. They don't need one specific date to feel important. Psychology calls this self-determination theory. Real happiness comes from 3 internal things: autonomy, growth, purpose. Not from applause, not from candles, not from Instagram likes. These people already know their worth. They don't need a calendar reminder to feel valuable. To them, celebrating existence isn't a performance. It's a daily practice. They don't chase attention. They don't need the spotlight. Their self-worth isn't event-based. It's identity-based. And that's a different level of psychological stability. Now flip the script. Why do some people celebrate loudly? Because humans crave belonging. Attention equals validation. Validation equals safety. When people post 20 stories, count down their birthday week, and expect constant attention, it doesn't mean they're shallow. It often means they associate visibility with worth. Hey, if people notice me, I matter. If people celebrate me, I'm valued. There's nothing wrong with celebration. The problem starts when your happiness depends entirely on it. When silence feels like rejection. When fewer wishes feel like reduced value. That's when birthdays become emotional audits. Who remembered? Who didn't? Who posted? Who ignored? And suddenly, the day becomes less about gratitude and more about comparison. Your reaction to your birthday reveals one of 3 things: pain, pressure, or peace. If you avoid it completely, maybe you learned not to expect. If you ignore it because you're busy, maybe you forgot to slow down. If you don't care because you're content, maybe you've grown internally. And if you celebrate loudly, maybe you love expression. Or maybe you're still searching for reassurance. There's no right or wrong category, but there is awareness. And awareness changes everything. Birthdays are psychological mirrors. They expose your relationship with validation time, self-worth, and memory. Some people celebrate to feel alive. Some avoid it to avoid pain. Some ignore it because they're chasing something bigger. But here's the real question. Where do you find the celebration of your existence? Outside or within? If your worth increases only when others acknowledge you, you'll always feel unstable. If your worth exists even when no one notices, you become powerful. Because then celebration becomes optional, not necessary. So whether you celebrate loudly or treat it like a normal Tuesday, ask yourself one thing. Is this coming from pain, pressure, or peace? Because the goal isn't to celebrate your birthday. The goal is to build a life that feels worth celebrating every day. If this made you reflect, comment below. Do you celebrate loudly or quietly?